Hey, so this week on the podcast, we get to sit down with worship pastor and endurance athlete Jason Millsaps to talk about an amazing program he has developed for discipleship called Kids Worship Camp. What started as just a simple idea eventually became this full-scale production where kids learn worship, songwriting, production, filmmaking, stage design, photography, and even end up giving a full-scale performance. But our conversation today goes deeper than just a summer program. We get to talk about creativity in ministry, raising up the next generation, empowering kids to serve now, not just someday, and why so many churches are missing the gifts already sitting in their pews. So if you care about discipleship, creativity, development, and the future of the church, this episode is definitely for you, packed with great ideas and some serious encouragement. So grab a friend and listen in. All right, let's go. Okay, Jason, welcome to the podcast here today. Glad to have you. Obviously, we're going from Phoenix to Florida, Florida back to Phoenix today, so that's kind of cool.
That's right.
So yeah, I mean, people, I guess I generally imagine that people read the descriptions of podcasts, but maybe they don't. So for those who haven't read or don't know you, maybe you could take a little bit of time and just introduce yourself and tell us, where you're from, what you're doing, anything you want to include, man. The floor is yours.
Well, thanks for having me today. My name is Jason Millsaps. I'm the lead worship pastor at Bell Shoals Church in Brandon, Florida, which is basically Tampa, Florida. And I've been here with my family for 11 and a half years now, serving at Bell Shoals Church. It's an awesome place, and we get to do a lot of fun things here. We're a multi-campus church, so we have 5 campuses. 2 of those are Spanish speaking, and the other 3 are English. And now I have the just privilege to be able to oversee all of our worship and production, all of our campuses. Got great worship leaders, just a really phenomenal team surrounding. We're able to do fun things like Kids Worship Camp that we put together several years ago. But anyway, yeah, I'm married and of 24 years now, and got 2 boys who pretty much have grown up right here in Brandon, Florida. So that's a little bit of me.
That's awesome. I love talking to people from Florida because I have so many like can you give us any insight for everybody who doesn't live in Florida about what the actual reality is of interacting with pythons and alligators where you live? What's the actual percentage?
Yeah, like alligators you definitely see. You just pretty much assume any body of water will have alligators. The pythons are a little bit more south of us, and both of my sons definitely want to go hunt pythons one day. So I can say I'm not there yet. So
is that okay, so where I live, like a rattlesnake roundup, like that would be
there's a thing, man. The pythons are invasive species, and they want to get rid. Hey, I will tell you this real quick. This is the craziest thing. So when it gets cold in Florida, and I mean cold like
70 degrees.
Yeah. I mean, when it hits 60, people are bringing their coats out. But it is a thing, South Florida, where it drops to a certain temperature and iguanas will fall out of the trees. They will basically freeze and do what. And so you have fallen iguanas. I mean, that's nowhere else. So
this is the content that we need. Like,
absolutely,
people who are on the ground can debunk the theories.
Yeah, I mean, it's a for real thing. So I mean, I don't know what you're reading on Facebook these days, but that is real.
We can't even get into it, but I can only imagine you're going on your way thinking, on a good day, and an iguana hits you in the head.
Yeah, I mean, how many times does that happen to you?
I'd be so mad. I'd be so mad. Well, that's all right. Cool. So that gets the Florida question of. So
yes.
You've been there. You said 11 years at Bell Shoals.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. That's awesome. And so today we got together. We got connected because of this product that you have worked on. I'm going to say it wrong, but basically, is there a title to it, or do you just call it like kids worship
Yeah, we
extravaganza?
have
What do you
called
call
it for, yeah, it needs to be called that. It's Kids Worship Camp
it?
is
There it
what we
is.
call it. And we created it back in 2018. So we've been doing this for several years now.
Yep.
And I'll say this just to kind of start it off. This was something that was on my heart to do for uh, a good 3 years before that. And quite honestly, I was just scared to start it
Right.
because I knew it was going to be a beast. And I'm assuming that's where most people are with things. And that's really a regret of mine that, man, I wish I would have started it that first year. How many times we do that, when God plants something in your heart and you either hold off and never do it or you wait too long. But anyway, our team got in place and man, we tried it and it's been a home run every single year.
Yeah.
It's been awesome to see the growth and what has become
Yep.
of Kids Worship Camp.
Yep. So yeah, I've got so many questions about the camp and what you did, but you said something that I think is really key for folks is this idea of like you're in ministry, you're on the ground doing the thing. So you obviously have ideas about how this could go better, how I'd like to see this change or grow and yeah, so what was that process like so you're a worship director, worship leader.
Yeah.
Um, yeah, how did the origins of kids worship camp, where did that begin
Yeah.
and what was kind of moving in you?
So for us, in the context here at Bell Shoals, we had a children's choir that met. A lot of churches do that. And as most places, I mean, for us, we had an hour that was our children's choir. Then another hour was something else. And it was like you got 2 or 3 hours of activities you're trying to pile in on Wednesday night. And it was just becoming too difficult. A lot of people weren't, they were having to pick and choose just because, I mean, the seasons people are in now and just the chaos, but good or bad. And so anyway, we shifted away from kids choir to more of just a worship focused time for our kids. It's an hour. That's it. They had some worship and teaching and activities and things like that. And we condensed it all down to that. Well, for me as a worship leader, music is a part of the ministry. And it just, quite frankly, candidly, it bothered me that we were missing that window, that element, and trying to teach our kids worship and singing and even goes along with the pipeline, from when they're kids and going into students and then adults leading worship. So I was thinking through things and, for me, I grew up in church. So, I mean, we were there all the time. We did the musicals as kids, all those things. And so I was thinking, I was like, well, we meet every Wednesday for 45 minutes or so for 10 weeks, and they perform a musical at the end of that semester. Okay. So in my brain, I'm thinking, what if we just took one intensive week in the summer, literally, I mean, like from 8 to 12 or whatever, every single day, and really focused in, taught a musical, taught the songs, taught all of those things, and then performed it at the end of the week on Friday night. Yeah. That would kind of give that, there's certain kids, especially creatives, some enjoy that type of thing. But then I was like, well, how else could we reach, the kids that don't like to do that stuff? They're more on the tech side of things, the production elements, so, okay, well, let's teach them how to run cameras. Let's teach them how to, show them a soundboard, maybe the lighting console. And then I got real crazy and I was like, well, what else could we do? Maybe there's a dance track that we could add. Yes. And then our creative team, I talked to them and, like I said before, like this has grown every single year. We just keep adding on things. And at the time when we started it, we were like, let's do a photography track. So just cameras. And so we added that, and then so I'm thinking, even with the musical, well, let's build the set. So we have stage design, we have set design, uh, and there's a lot of people in our church. Once I casted this vision of the next generation, investing in them and what the potential could be, planting those seeds, um, people jumped on board. This was the easiest thing we've ever done to get volunteers. They jumped on board immediately because they saw what the investment was about, and they believed in it. They wanted to be a part of it. And so we had guys that love construction, a lot of retirees that, man, I'll use this whole week, and it's pretty crazy, but we've got, 20 kids in set design with saws and, drills but they're learning some craft in that area. And so, yeah, we dreamed together, and we were like, let's try it, and we'll call it Kids Worship Camp. So that's kind of where it was birthed. And after that, we just kept adding on new tracks. Like, for instance, maybe 4 years ago, I added a songwriting track. A lot of our team, we write a lot of songs for what we do on Sunday. And I was like, why not? So our camp is for completed first through completed fifth. So we use the songwriting track for a lot of the older kids, so the fifth graders, and they sign up, they register, they pick the tracks they want to be a part of. If that's production, set design, dance, now we're doing filmmaking, photography, or songwriting, some other opportunity, or drama. And so anyway, yeah, we take about 10 kids, we sit them in a room on Monday. We read Psalms together. We have them write down write down a prayer to God. It's just you and God talking. And then we ask, hey, who wants to be bold and read that? And then we just encourage, and we grab words here and there. And then we start working in, we'll bring a guitar in and just start playing a rhythm, and then have a kid just, hey, don't be scared. Just by the end of the session, they're opening up, and they realize, okay, everybody's encouraging each other in here, and this is safe. And they blow us away every year. Every year they've written a song, and for our context, we're able to take them into a studio and actually record, and they record the song they do that week, and then on Friday night they sing it. So I mean, all the parents come, grandparents come, you know how it works, and Friday night is, man, it blows you away. We've got 20 kids in our production. So that night, by the end of the week, they're running our full broadcast cameras on Friday night. Somebody's on the switcher, a fourth, fifth grader switch. I mean, like, wow, you forget that kids are operating this stuff. It's awesome. It is such a huge blessing. And, man, I'm just so passionate about it and love it. And this past year is when we took all of these things, and we took an entire year to write everything out, lesson plans, detailed steps, how to do this in your context. And we made this resource available because I truly believe every church needs to be doing something like this. I think it's part of our responsibility to pour into these kids, to equip them. There was someone that had said to me one time, and it's just always stuck with me. And it was, he was asking, why do you think kids don't lead worship more? And really, a lot of times it's just because we don't allow them to.
Right, exactly.
And that goes along with production and other things that, candidly, a lot of those kids are better operators with the joystick than adults are. I mean, let's just be real. And man, I mean, we have seen this to be more than just a week-long camp, but truly a pipeline. We have what I call Kids Worship Camp graduates now. We've been doing this for 8 or 9 years. Yeah,
I was going to ask, what's the term? What's the I don't want to say return on the investment, but that's kind of what it is. But what's the
It- yeah.
yeah, what's the future of that
So
look like with your
we
volunteers?
have students that were in kids worship camp that are on our production team
Mm,
on Sundays. They're running cameras. I
that's
mean, they've got a handheld. They're like
mm,
they're sitting behind the computer. We have some that are now leading and on our vocal teams in our student ministry. Some of those students are what we call big church. I mean, really, on Sunday morning.
Sis, yeah.
Yeah,
No, yeah.
so we're seeing that. One of the cool things is that once they finished up fifth grade, they've done kids worship camp for a few years. We have seen this now, and it's really cool to see since we've been doing it for years. But so many of those students are now coming back to us saying, hey, we're in 8th grade now, 10th grade, whatever. We want to serve on kids worship camp. Like
Right.
we want to help out.
Mm-hmm.
And so we do. A lot of those students are coming back now to serve and teach in kids worship camp. This is just, it's discipleship. It's awesome.
Mm-hmm.
And
Now, why do you think so? A few questions for you, but why do you think that this has worked so well? Because you clearly, I mean, you've been in ministry a while, long enough.
yeah.
What's different about this program that has this kind of like
You
this
know,
residual positive vibe, like people coming back, people sticking with it?
um, I think it's well, obviously it's planting seeds of like service, but um, even igniting imagination, but it's raising up young worshipers, helping them to maybe even hone in, but use their gifts
Mm.
for God's glory, kind of understanding that and maybe opening, we hear from these kids like, I didn't realize we could like do these things with filmmaking,
Mm. Mhm.
a YouTube channel that we could use for God's glory. Like we're not against all of the creatives, but how could we use those things?
Yeah.
And I think helping them realize those things and planting those seeds and giving them the opportunity maybe to hold a microphone for the very first time
Mm-hmm.
or to stand behind that gigantic broadcast camera and actually control and feel confident with it and say, man, I never thought I'd love it, but I really enjoy doing this.
Yeah, that's awesome.
And so we have, since starting kids worship camp, we've now, opened up kind of a small production team in our student ministry on Wednesday night. So they're running, smaller cameras where they're helping out with lights, with sound, with Pro Presenter, computer, there's a vocal team. There's like things like that. So that anyway, it's just it's really, really cool to see just what God has done with this thing.
Yeah, it seems like if I said it like really simply, when you've got kids in the congregation, they often look up and they go, okay, cool. If I want to be in ministry, I got to be a pastor,
Yep.
or I got to be a worship leader, or I got to be a director of some ministry. And what you guys have done is you have added infinite bullet points to that list of things that a kid could imagine they could do when they realize, like you said, I could run a camera, I could help with the stage lighting, I could do the set, I could be a writer, I could, on and on and on. That's so cool.
Which is so awesome. And, I think it also helps our children as they grow in the church, but exactly what you said, but not just, having the mindset of like, well, to be paid to do certain things, but like, man, through your journey, like where can you serve in the local church? And there's so many areas in the body of Christ, that we need to do this thing and reaching people for Christ. I'll tell you this, like, I guess for me too, like this might be a terrible example, but like me growing up in a very traditional Baptist church.
Mm-hmm.
The minister of music, like most places, just conducted, waved his arms for 3 songs on Sunday morning. And that was pretty much it. We had a piano and organ. That was it.
Mm-hmm.
And when I felt the call to go into ministry, music ministry, I struggled with that for months. But I truly felt like God was just pressing on my heart. That's where I was supposed to be, headed. And I didn't want to do that the rest of my life. But it was
That
when
seemed-
it was when, for me, when I interned at a large church out in Texas, when I was going to for graduate school. And that's really when God opened my eyes to see, man, there's so much more in ministry. And that's when really I felt like God was kind of saying, no, this is where I'm calling you to the local church. And man, to see like, wow, you can have an orchestra or a band, or, there's, all the, I know that sounds crazy, but for me, that was kind of the eye-opening moment. And I kind of see that for kids too. Like, wow, there's a lot more I can do using the gifts and skills God's given me. And maybe they're just now discovering those things. So I do feel a responsibility, as God places people in our circle, that we're supposed to shepherd and help and minister to. And man, what just greater blessing, to be able to minister to these kids and to help them maybe see a skill they didn't even realize they had.
Right.
Something that God's blessed them with. And the thing I've told our leaders from day one is, we may never see the fruit of our labor through kids worship camp. But I do truly believe that, it might be 10 years, could be 15 years, it could be 20 years, but I just believe with all my heart that there's going to be kids that are in the ministry because of kids worship camp. They're going to be, the tech director. They're going to be a production director. They're going to be a worship leader. They're going to be whatever it is leading in church. And they might say, you know what? It's because I did this camp. I don't even remember what it's called. This guy led it, but it was the first time I put my hands on a camera, or the first time holding a microphone. And that's when that seed was planted. And I'm telling you, our volunteers believe that, and they're all in, and they want to be a part of this camp every single year.
Right.
So yeah, it's just,
I get so you've shared this with other churches at this point? Would that be
yeah.
fair?
So we took an entire year to basically put everything we're doing on paper.
Yep.
Write out lesson plans, write out detailed things that a church could take and scale it for them. I believe that, no matter what size church you're in, I mean, somebody in your church probably likes to take pictures, Okay, well, ask that person to lead photography group. Use a cell phone camera. I mean, right. Seriously, there's things that you can do. Don't think you have to have large scale production equipment. Most churches probably have a sound system and a guy that's running sound every week. He could teach, a group of kids how to do some faders. If you don't have lights like production, that's okay. Skip that track.
Right.
The songwriting track we have made extremely easy. We actually gave options. We provided a track for the song. You just add lyrics. Now, if you need a melody, we played a melody on track number 2. So that makes it even easier. Or you can go all in and come up with all of that on your own. So like we've given you helps and, so we packaged this entire thing. And then the other thing we did was something I've been wanting to do for a few years is to write our own musical. Mm-hmm. So we did that last year. We produced our own musical that we'll actually be doing this summer for our camp. And that is also in this resource. I mean, for anything, buy it to get an entire kids musical, tracks, lyric sheets, rhythm, vocals, everything is provided in this package. And yeah, everything's now ready for you to grab. It's on worshiphousekids.com. So
yeah, I can link that in the notes for sure.
Yeah.
When you say scale, do you have a sense of like this could be replicated even if you've got 10 people all the way up to 1,000? Like, what's your feeling about that?
I believe so. The thing that you might be limited is, if you had 5 kids, that's might be hard to actually pull off an entire musical.
Right.
A kids musical. But most churches, I would think, that are familiar with doing some kids musicals. So you're going to have a grasp of that. But yeah, I mean, like, if you're a smaller church, some of those kids, not only are they performing, they might actually help out with building some of the set.
Right.
And I guarantee every single church has a few guys that love building stuff. Well, there's your set design, And so we give you ideas on that. Dance track. Do you have a high schooler that is taking ballet or dance? Probably so.
Right.
Ask them to lead it. So yeah, I think it truly is, scalable. And I think every church needs to be doing something like this, including, this is not to replace, other summer activity, like most churches probably doing VBS, Vacation Bible School, or something to that nature. I think that's fine. Why not add another week and do something like Kids Worship Camp? Not to replace what you're already doing. For us, our parents around here are always looking for things for their kids during the summer.
Yes.
And for our church, Monday through Friday, we did a 5-day camp. Works best for us. But we've resourced this and designed it to where it's 5 days. So it could be 5 Saturdays, or it could, yes, we do it Monday to Friday, 1 week, intensive training, but it could also work for you. Maybe you're, pick 5 days of the summer and do it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. I was going to actually, I think you just answered it, but I was going to ask, what's been your experience of either replacing VBS or adding to VBS? And I think you make a good point. Like,
we still do VBS at our church. So for us personally, and I'm a team player. I'm working with, we're not siloed here. So like, we're working with our children's department and our student directors and pastors. And so we're all working together with this. Like, for instance, our children's pastor will come over and do the devotions every morning for our rally time for Kids Worship Camp. So, I mean, they are involved in some aspect, but we try to space it out through the summer. Our kids, VBS is at the beginning of the summer. A few weeks later, we have our student kids camp that they go off to. And then a few weeks later, our kids worship camp is happening. So we try to space it out to where it's not just piled off, one top of the other. And that kind of helps their sanity as well as staff take.
Both said the staff and the volunteers for sure.
Correct.
You mentioned, which I think is an important facet of what you're doing, but ministry towards, or ministry with the creatives in mind. And I'm curious, from where you sit, again, I think we do so much stuff that's maybe geared to this, that, or the other group or demographic or interests that people have in the churches. So yeah, I'm kind of curious what you've seen over the years of, and this is going to kind of be a no duh question, but I'm imagine that this program has really drawn out kids that wouldn't normally be involved, and some of these creative types who have some of these like different giftings and different ideas of how to be involved with their church.
Yeah.
And I'm curious again, like you're a worship guy yourself. You've got to have a level of creativity that may be more than someone else, right? So from your own creative heart. Yeah. What does that do for you?
Yeah. what I have seen, what we've experienced is you kind of know the kids that are going to end up in maybe production world, which are typically your introverts, versus the ones that I am trying out for a speaking part, or I want to sing a solo.
Yeah.
So, we have our younger kids will go to the choir track. That's kind of the thing as they start. And we do it a lot. Like, for instance, you've done this in student ministry where your older kids, it gives them something to look forward to as well.
Yeah.
So there's a maturity level. So our 4th and 5th graders are typically the ones that are in production. So if you've started out in kids worship camp early, once I get a little bit older, I'm able to jump in production. Or maybe it's filmmaking or your songwriting group. But yeah, definitely, like, I believe it opens the door for these kids that, man, I don't really even want to go to summer camp away, overnight trips, things like that. This is a day camp that we do. It's from 8:30 to 12 o'clock every day. It's not real long. It goes by really, really quick because we're moving them around. But yeah, it does serve the purpose for that introvert, extrovert type kid that wants to be out front and ones that do not want to be out front. But it allows them to serve in some type of capacity.
Yep. Have you, so in your time, especially as you are now overseeing an entire ministry, have you thought much about, or what's been your experience with, like, this idea of giving people responsibility, letting them run with their ideas and run with the things that they're on their hearts and things like that?
I think it's important. I think it's important that we allow creativity.
Yeah.
Now, sometimes you might have to rein it in a little bit.
Sure.
You have to you're the responsible one. It's going to fall on you as the leader. But I do think it's good to encourage creativity.
Yeah.
I mean, God created.
It's pretty
straightforward. Yeah. So, it's. I think we need to create. We need to play skillfully before the Lord. Yeah.
Now, would you rather, if you think about your role as a pastor, as a director, as you lead others, would you rather be in a place where you were having to correct someone and maybe pull them back? Would you rather that be where you spend your energy, or would you rather your energy be spent, not letting them have tried it, even in the first place, and you're just doing everything? It's kind of like, what would you rather have?
Oh, absolutely, rein them back. But I think it goes back to the whole. A lot of times we just don't allow it. So, how many people you have sitting out there that should be using a gift God's given them, but are not doing it? Right. Maybe because you're doing everything.
Yeah, they look up and they go, "Oh, there's clearly no need for me.
There's no need."
Yeah. How do you handle that as a worship leader? Like, what do you do? How do you guys run it?
So I like to have, obviously you need to help people find the right seat,
right?
The right gifting. And for us, we have different programs that we have, especially for our adults, that we try to help with them discovering, is that their spiritual gift or their, the gifting that God has placed on their heart and life, to where is the right place for them to serve? Because, man, it's just being a part of a church and community is more than just coming and sitting on the back row of a pew or a seat on Sunday morning and just kind of, dodging out real,
right.
never speaking to people. I mean, I think it's important that we find those places and help people find that place of service.
Yeah.
And it's just as important somebody running that screen on Sunday morning, or, I mean, there's so many opportunities within the walls of the church, and that are important as the main goal is still the main goal, and that's reaching people for Christ. At least I hope that's the main goal.
That's right.
So,
Yeah, it brings me back to what I think is so cool about your program, to bring it back to the kids worship camp is that from a really early age, these kids are it's kind of getting it's being
yes,
modeled to them, and it's evident that these different jobs are important.
it's
And
planting the seeds.
right.
Yeah.
So if I'm doing the math right, you were your oldest end is fifth grade. You've been doing it for, let's call it 8 years.
Yeah.
So if your oldest person would be like graduating high school right now, if I'm doing the
Yes.
math right.
Yeah. So high school, and then like, if they start fifth grade, they probably a freshman in college, and which is crazy to think.
Yeah. Well, that was kind of
Uh,
my question. Do you have an example of that person who's now it's like singing on the worship team or running
oh,
on board?
absolutely.
Yeah.
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah. We've got probably I think 3 or 4 students that are consistently on our production team on Sunday mornings.
Yes.
It's all, I mean, like they're holding handheld cameras and stuff. Like
Yes.
it's so cool. And several kids that are either leading in our students,
Right.
singing with their band or playing in the band. And then some of those students are actually singing with us on Sunday mornings.
Wow.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah,
That's what I just wish
awesome.
I know. I wish we could fast forward like 10 years and have the same conversation because I'd love to know
Oh
like
man,
what's
yeah,
how
yeah.
many of these kids are you now? Because even just in your church, how big is Bell Shoals, would you say?
It's like 8,000 member. We run about 4,000 on Sunday across
Okay.
our campuses. And
Okay, so this is a big community.
yeah, it's a big community.
But you're just kind of wondering like if you're doing the math right and you could keep track of some of these kids, where have these kids ended up? What are they doing? Where are they serving? Where have they moved? That then they're now implementing something like this. Like it's really fun to think about
Yeah, which, I mean, really,
how it
that's
continues.
something I'll probably end up doing, is just trying to track it somehow, just because, and just to see the hand of God working. And, for instance, one of our worship leaders who's full-time staff member now with us, team member, she started out, I guess she was probably 6th or 7th grade when I came. And I just, you see some children that, like, man, there's anointing there. There's some, God's got their hand on them, and just to see the growth. And then I remember her coming to me when she was senior in high school, asking about internship here, and she interned for a few years, and then now she's full time with us on staff. And
Oh, it's so cool.
she's leading worship. She's leading our student worship. So watching her now and like pouring into these students, saying the things I used to say, like
Yeah.
man, it's awesome.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's a blessing.
Yeah, that's the benefit that, your longevity in the one place affords
Yes.
you. And I think that that's something that gets missed if we move around too much or we kind of are chasing this out of the other thing, which again, there's so many things that can happen. I don't want to be condemning anyone who's listening, but
Oh, yeah.
well, like there is something really cool about being somewhere for 10, 12, 15, 20 years and getting to see what you just described. It's so amazing.
I mean, I was at churches for, on average 3-4 years.
Right.
I served in Georgia and Texas, New Mexico, and back to Georgia, and then the Lord led us here and has allowed us to stay here for a while, and we love it here, and man, we don't want to leave. It's just
Yeah, that's right.
just God's doing some great things.
Yeah.
We're really blessed.
So let's get back to the kids worship camp for a moment.
Yes.
What would be your hope for this program? Like you said, you've written it all out, you've made it available. What do you want to see happen next?
Really, my prayer, even making it a resource for other churches, it was one of those things I kind of felt like we had like this little secret here at Bell Shoals, and it bothered me because I really wanted other people to know about this thing. Because I wish I'd have known about this 20 years ago. It was just like, I would see and I would hope and pray that more churches would be doing something called Kids Worship Camp or something similar even. This is just something that actually just, I believe, kind of moves the needle with kids, if you want to call it that.
Yeah.
Like it's not a camp where they just sit and listen. It's like really where they show up and serve. Like,
Yes.
I just think that's so important. I think the other camps are important, but this is a specific style camp that just where we can pour into kids and just help them understand the church and something that I believe they will take with them, and I pray they will the rest of their lives.
Yeah.
Serving the local church.
Yep. Yeah, really the immersive nature, the hands-on nature, it's a little different than, it's almost like why missional type trips can be so powerful, because you get in and you get dirty and you're participating and everybody's working together. Everybody's standing in a line washing dishes together or working on a home or whatever it is. But it's kind of like that, right?
Yes, exactly. That's a great illustration there and example. So,
dang, well, amazing. And so my last bit of questions for you. I see some of these Iron Man posters behind you.
I've done a few.
Yeah, he's done a few. I was curious to know, what, just speaking about ministry in general, but what has training and running in Ironman events, what has that taught you about the faith, and where do you see the overlaps?
Oh, there's so many. Man, yeah, how much time do you have? But you're in Arizona, and my first Ironman was in Tempe, Arizona. And I did that back in 2013. I've done 16 Ironman races since then.
Wow.
I had 2 major back surgeries. Didn't know if I could race after those. I mean, I had a back fusion. There was some my doctor pretty much said it was all the pounding. I mean, this is kind of an extreme hobby. It was a hobby, but it was just something I just found and enjoyed. It was an outlet. It challenged myself. I'm already I have the nature, a strong, drive about me. And, I always kind of set really big goals and, I want to achieve them. But even with the racing and the things that came about, the setbacks, like the back surgeries, things like that. Here's the deal. As a Christ follower, we're going to have stuff happen.
Right.
We're going to have hard times happen. We're going to have things that maybe try to take you off course. Maybe try to take your eyes off the prize.
There you go.
And as an endurance athlete, when I was doing all these races, I had to keep my eye on that prize. I knew what the end goal, I was training for, my first Ironman, I trained for 13 months.
Wow.
I had to change completely everything I was doing. I was unhealthy. Like physically, I was unhealthy. And I decided to get healthy. I trained 13 months, lost 50 pounds.
Wow.
But I had my eyes set on finishing an Ironman. And that's what I did. I completed it. Talk about perseverance, and endurance. And there's so many correlations with triathlon, like with, biblically speaking, like, even might sound cheesy, but like when you cross the finish line at an Ironman, if you're in the Ironman community, triathlon community, like you understand the words you want to hear is at that finish line when whatever announcer it is, they say the same thing. and it was Jason Millsaps, "You are an Iron Man."
Yeah.
And I wanted to hear those words so bad. As a Christ follower, we should want to hear the words so bad. "Well done, thou good and faithful servant." It's for us to be faithful, not well tried. It's faithful servant. It's coming back tomorrow and staying the course, continuing to plant, continuing to water, allowing God to do the increase. It's coming back. It's coming back. Especially people in ministry. It's remembering, so many times I tell guys and I tell myself, don't forget your calling. Remember the calling, because a lot of times that's what's going to keep you in ministry. There's a lot of other things that we could do that would be a lot easier.
Right.
Ministry's tough. It's tough on the family. But it's about persevering. It's about going through the hard times. As a Christ follower, he didn't say it's going to be simple. No, it's going to be tough. But it's persevering. It's enduring the hard times, but it's keeping your eye on the prize. And so I did those Ironman and learned a lot through it. Ended up writing a book about it.
Really? There you go.
Yeah, so released that this year, and it's just kind of cool to see what God allowed me to do with that, and now using it just as a ministry tool. And able to, God's opened some doors where I have to speak with some groups and kind of using a different outlet, than just music. What I've been doing for the past 25 years. Yeah. So.
Yeah, I love the way you said keeping the eye on the prize. And you're right. There's so many ways that we get distracted or discouraged.
Yes. Yeah.
And even like to your point, what do you do when you have a life-altering event, like a huge surgery or a huge injury that literally like takes you off course, and you got to crawl back onto the road, right? Like
exactly. And how many times do you just throw in the towel?
Yeah.
Because you just give up. Man, if I could tell anybody, don't give up.
Right.
Remember your calling. God called you to that. He's going to equip you. He'll give you the strength. Be strong and courageous. Keep moving, just one step forward. And in Ironman, you don't think about 140.6 miles.
Oh,
you think about the next. Yeah, you think about the next aid station. You think about the next tree up ahead. Literally, you do. You just, man, if I can make it to there, if I can just make it to there, it's one stroke at a time. It's one pedal stroke. It's one, step in front of you. And eventually you'll get there. You'll get there.
Yeah, that's right. Amen, man. Well, that's probably, I know we have about an hour scheduled, but that's probably a perfect place to end. Don't give up. Right. Don't give up. And you know what? If Kids Worship Camp is a piece of the puzzle for anybody listening, check it out, man. Give it a try.
Absolutely.
It could be amazing. What I do like about it, and I do want to reiterate just as we finish up, but there is, and I totally agree with you, but I think there is a responsibility to equip and call the younger folks in our churches, to give them responsibility, to give them, quote unquote, the keys to the doors of the church, and let them try.
Yes.
And if we're not going to do that, then we cannot be upset that, our churches are not growing or expansion for expansion's sake, but not growing, not producing fruit, not developing in discipleship, because if we're not cultivating, dude, it's not going to grow. So I do want to reiterate that, like, this sounds like I'm not going to say a silver bullet, but the program you've developed definitely harnesses a lot of the hands-on aspects to discipleship, which are obviously so amazing and so transformative for people. So like I said, I'll link it in the show notes. And then if someone wants to get in touch with you or learn more about what you're doing, I can link some of that stuff up as well.
Yeah, absolutely.
The book, or, Bell Shoals, if they want to pop in and see what's going on.
Thank you. Yes, that's right.
or maybe python hunting with you guys.
Hey, who knows?
Yeah,
Iguanas, anything. I mean,
right on. Well, thanks so much for your time, Jason. Appreciate it.
Thank
And
you.
yeah, many blessings on all that's going to come.
Thanks.
Thanks for listening. If you've enjoyed this episode, don't forget to subscribe, leave a review, and share it with another pastor or ministry leader who you think might benefit from this conversation. And if you're looking for more tools and resources to help you preach and lead with confidence, be sure to check out sermoncentral.com/podcast. Sermon Central is the largest online resource hub for pastors and ministry leaders. From illustrations to outlines to media, you'll find everything you need to preach and lead effectively. So check out sermoncentral.com/podcast, where you'll even find a special podcast listener discount on our membership pricing. Check it out and stay tuned for our next episode.